Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It is roughly that time of the week where we get our next episode in the Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 Yay or Nay series, and we got a magical creature to take a look at today, none other than Wanda from the Fairly Odd Parents. We'll see how this one goes. Dinkleberg did not go that well, but how about a more respected character from the series? So if you have never seen this series before, basically we're going to run down a whole bunch of ideas on how the character would look and play in Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2, and then down in the comments we all participate by either typing the word yay, as in yay, I do want to see this character playable, or nay, I do not want to see this character playable. Pretty simple. We tally up all the votes, we get a bunch of stats, and we kind of figure out who's the most wanted and who's the least wanted. Pretty fun stuff. So without any further ado, let's jump into some possible moves that Wanda might bring with her into Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2. Move number one, I called this one the Cosmo Rockets. So here's how it would work. We do need a bit of magic, first of all, in her moveset, right? She's a fairy after all, so there's got to be some type of magic. So here's what I imagine. Wanda will actually quickly fire out a rocket, and it will end up firing directly upwards, if you will. So she ends up, in a way, like Cosmo gets summoned by her, and she immediately turns him into a rocket, and he gets sent flying straight upwards. Maybe it could even be pointed straight forwards as like a long-range projectile, but straight up could be like an anti-air sort of tool. So maybe you could even aim it. We could go with that route if you want. But Wanda appears, she summons Cosmo, she turns Cosmo into a rocket, and then the rocket kind of gets fired off as some sort of projectile. So of course the projectile, being a rocket, would fire. It'd have a fairly decent speed to it, fairly quick, I would say. So it'd make, like I said, great anti-air if it's like a grounded light up attack, or if it's just like a neutral special that fires forward, that works too. But either way, the Cosmo Rocket, there's the first idea. Move number two, I'm calling this one the Rainbow Bridge Recovery. All right, so if you've seen the show Fairly Odd Parents, then you will know that there is like this rainbow bridge that connects Fairy World to Earth. So I imagine let's get that involved in Wanda's moveset. So let's be a little bit creative instead of just, hey, teleport from one spot to the other. So many characters have that, so let's do something a little bit different for like a recovery type of move. So for example, in the episode School's Out the Musical, there's a scene where Cosmo ends up throwing Wanda onto the bridge that's, again, that connects Fairy World to Earth. So I thought that would kind of make for its own fun kind of recovery attack, right? Simply put, here's how the attack works. Wanda will kind of pretty much just slide across this rainbow bridge, and it will knock into any opponent that might be in her way, right? Of course, you could say that she just kind of poofs from one spot. Like I said, teleportation would work, but I think a lot of characters and a lot of ideas kind of like shift to that for the easy idea, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. Again, rainbow bridge from one spot to the other, and she just slides across it, like I said, knocking into anybody that might be in her way. Maybe the bridge is kind of more of like a, depending on where you use it, it kind of like arcs upwards a little bit, because it is recovery, so you kind of want to go up with it, so the bridge kind of goes upwards. You get the idea. Use it as recovery. It's an idea, I guess. Move number three, I call this one Dance Away. Now, what does this do? Well, it's kind of simple. For this move, we're going to have Wanda summon Cosmo again. So they're both going to be utilized in this attack. So for the attack itself, they're both just going to kind of like spin and dance in place. If anyone's familiar with, say, like the Ice Climbers from Smash Bros, their side special where Popo and Nana basically spin around in a circle together and they kind of move forwards a bit. That's kind of how I envision this attack playing out. So again, Wanda and Cosmo, they are partners after all, so get them together, have them do some sort of attack together. Why not? So it works, kind of gives them a little bit of distance. It kind of gives them, something that has like a moving hitbox to it that could kind of mess around with the opponent a little bit. So Dance Away, I figured it would be a pretty fitting one for Wanda. And, well, I guess Cosmo here. Now let's talk about some alternate costume ideas. So up first, alternate costume number one. This one's just an obvious one, right? Please tell me and everyone else would think of this. But we got to go with anti-Wanda. Like, please? This, it's like the evil version of Wanda. So, yeah, sign me up. Sign me up for this one. No brainer, no doubter. I think this would have to be at least in the top 3, right? If we're going to consider any sort of alternate costumes, definitely top 3 idea. Hopefully this would make it in with Wanda, but yeah, anti-Wanda I think makes a lot of sense. Alternate costume idea number 2, another one I think would be fairly fitting, Wanda Woman. I believe it's from the episode Super Zero Wanda. At one point, Wanda basically turns into Wanda Woman to save Timmy and Poof, so I thought this would make for a pretty fitting and excellent alternate costume. You know, because, well, it's an alternate costume, so let's go with that. Now for the stage idea, I think this one is, well, fairly obvious here. This fairy world, I mean, come on, can you imagine, just imagine like a long flat stage, fairy world sign kind of being used as like a platform maybe over on the left-hand side of the stage, and you know, the rest of the stage kind of being made up of those pink, fluffy kind of clouds. Something like that, fairly simple, but you know, very it fits the theme. It's kind of very, I don't want to say it's very colorful, but it's fairy world. We all know what it is. We all probably imagine it somewhat differently in our minds, but either way, it comes down to what kind of stage should Wanda and or if Timmy ever got in as well, what kind of stage? Fairy world makes for, well, a lot of sense. So there you go with that. But now for the yay or nay portion, at least my opinion, I'm going to give Wanda a big yay. I think, you know, a magical fairy type of move set and character would make for a fun and intriguing addition to the roster, so she gets a yay from me. Let me know what you guys think down below, either yay or nay. Type one of them. That's how this series works. So we're not quite done because we do have the updated yay or nay stats, which are as follows. And as you can see, we got the top 6 on screen. We now have 7 total characters, so I wonder who last place is. Well, we'll get to that in a second because we got characters 1 through 6. As you can see, they're labeled by placement and they are organized by percentage. Still number 1 is Queen Vexus with an 83.82%, followed by Odie in second place with a 75.94%. And then we got Arnold, who moved up percentage-wise. I think he's the only character. No, Lenny Loud, she moved up a little bit too, but Arnold's now up to 72.94%. Yes to no ratio. Casey Jones received 0 votes. Like, this series is very much slowing down. The Nickelodeon All Star Brawl community does not seem to care about this anymore, so we might be wrapping it up fairly soon. But then we got the new character, Doug. His stats for 1 week being in the series: 57 total votes, 38 yays, 19 no's, and he comes in with a 66.67%, so a pretty much a 2-to-3 ratio in terms of yes to no. So that's not bad. It's not bad. I'm surprised there's a lot of people that thought Doug was kind of bland. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but it's like, with the roots that Doug has and the ties that he has to Nickelodeon, I thought this would, honestly, I thought he would have been a lot higher ranked in terms of the yeses, but there's quite a bit of people that were like, no. There's a few people that didn't even know who Doug was, so that kind of blew my mind a little bit, but it makes sense. Doug was a very early to mid-90s sort of character, so it is what it is. And then, of course, we said Lenny Loud in 6th place, but we do have one final character, that being Dinkleberg in 7th place. He did not do well in his follow-up week. He is now with 71 total votes, 41 yays, 30 no's, and he is now down to 57.74% yes to no ratio. And as you can see right there at the bottom of his little individual square, he dropped 3.45%. He dropped almost 3.5 percentage points. And again, if you've never seen the series, that's a massive drop. Even 1% is like pretty massive from a week-to-week basis. But yeah, 3.5 percentage he dropped. So people do not like Dinkleberg, which I still find a little funny because everyone was like supporting Gertie, and they're like, yeah, she's great for a WTF character. And then we got Dinkleberg, and everyone's like, no, we don't like WTF characters. It's just kind of funny. It's kind of weird to see that, but that is the updated stats. Hope you all enjoyed, and maybe we'll do another one of these episodes this weekend. Who knows?